Hi everyone, so guess what? It is technically redo Top 5 Wednesday for me because of certain things that I used in my last video. I had to take it down because it got blocked in certain places, so it was just not worth it to keep it up. But I just recently joined Top 5 Wednesday, so yay for me. And I love the last week's topic because it was really relevant to me. And of course, I love this one because it is one of my most favorite books, one of my most favorite series. So, in honor of the last Mockingjay um, movie coming out, this week's Top 5 Wednesday will be your favorite Hunger Games moments. Top 5 Wednesday, of course, was created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey. Um, so go check out her channel and go check out everyone else who's been doing Top 5 Wednesday because they are excellent. So let's get on with me rambling about one of my favorite series. Here we go, at number 5. So at number 5, we have the second quarter quell, which in Catching Fire, they were basically at the third one. So what they had to do was watch videos, of former tributes, of former victors, to see their tactics and how they won and such. And of course, they come across their mentor Haymitch's games that he won. And the book is told from first-person point of view, from the point of view of Katniss, which I loved. And I love first person, and I thought she was a fantastic character. However, we only see things from her point of view. And that's why I kind of didn't mind some things added to the movie, because, obviously in the movie you see much more going on. However, the thing was that even though in the book it's told from her point of view, we kind of got to see a little bit more of life outside of what's going on with Katniss. We got to see what happened with, an older game. There are characters that are talked a little bit about in the book, and I really wish, the author would have had time to, touch base on, everything that happened in their games. But I'm glad she kind of wrote and told us a little bit, at least about his and how he won, the ally he took, and other things. So it was nice to see a little bit more about another character and, what happened with them. I wish there was more detail about it. I really wish that they would have kept this in the movie. I would have been interested to see who would have played him, who would have played the girl, how they would have acted out that scene. This picture right here is actually from a fan-made video that somebody made, and I thought they did excellent, for something that is fan-made, and that would have been great in the actual movie. So moving on to number 4. Number 4 is the mutations, or as they were in the movie, the digital dogs. Now, I had seen the movie before I read the book, actually, and I actually seen it like 2 years before I even picked up the book. Now, in the movie, in the arena, what they do is they make these digital dogs, and they kind of make them in their lab kind of thing as these digital beasts, and in the arena they take form, and of course they chase the tributes, tear them apart, eat them, all that crap, because the game makers get a little sadistic to keep the games interesting. Usually when there's not much going on and the crowd gets bored, they will do something just really morbid or try to trick them or something to get stuff going. Or if they just want basic entertainment, like I said. So in the movie, I mean, the digital dogs are cool, and that still sounds scary as hell. However, in the book, what happens is they take the features of the fallen tributes, and the creatures basically have their faces. So not only do you have to watch these other kids die, now you're being chased by these mutated creatures that have their face. And I was reading that, and for something that is basically teen literature, that has to be one of the most morbid things I've ever read. And it's got to be a mix between being terrifying, um, there's gonna be an emotional stuff going on because, like I said, you watch these kids die. Um, one was Katniss's ally, basically. So she's basically just terrified and torn apart. But she basically doesn't have time to cry because she has to run to save her ass. And they changed up things from the book to the movie and how she handled, what was it? I think it was Kato. Um, I think in the movie they just shoot him basically, whereas in the book the mutations kind of tear at him for hours. Yeah, and I thought that was just really, really a dark part of the book. Um, yeah, I really wish they would have kept the mutated creatures how they were in the book because I thought that would have just been so much better, so much scarier. So number three, or for number three, I have the cornucopia bloodbath. So basically, what happens is they go on these platforms, they rise up, and they have to stand there for, I think it might have been 60 seconds in the book, but it's shortened 10 to 50 in the movie. And I thought that was a great transition from book to movie. In the book and both the movie, you can feel the intense feeling that this character has, the fear, the emotion. She's being put into this arena by the government, by these people. She has to probably kill these other kids, or she can get killed. So you gotta think how terrifying it has to be to stand there knowing that could be like the last 50, 60 seconds of your life. So I heard originally in the movie they kept the entire countdown, all the noise, but what happened was they thought it would have been, I guess, a better dramatic effect, would have given it more if they quieted it down a little bit, which I thought they made a smart move on that because the silence to some degree of it and just the music that plays kind of gives it more of that intense, eerie feeling of what's about to happen. So when they run off these platforms, there's basically just background music going, and you see them just running towards all the supplies. Peeta just darts out to the forest, and Katniss is just standing there. Um, you really see this in the movie. I mean, obviously, it was fantastic in the book, but bringing it to life in the movie, I thought they did an excellent job. And so she's just standing there watching all these people that trained together, that ate together, basically just kill each other. They're hacking at each other, tripping each other, beating on each other, because basically the winner is the survivor of the game. So this scene was very, very dark, and obviously it's in its own way because it brought out survival instinct in teenagers. And the fact that people are, you know, watching this on big screens and everything. Your family has to watch this. These rich people are watching it and taking bets on you. And while you know that, you're in the middle of this bloodbath of these teenagers killing each other. And yeah, so she's just kind of shocked at first, and then she goes for this bag. It's changed up a little bit from book to movie, but basically it's the same. She fights over this bag with this one guy in the book, and the other one she just goes in, grabs it, and trips, or in the movie. However, basically she gets into this confrontation with this one guy, and he ends up falling because somebody had thrown a knife into his back, which was pretty cool, sad to say, in the movie. Okay, so for my number two pick, I may even be going against the rules a little bit, but I can't pick just one single moment with this. I would say for number two, just her friendship with Rue. Why I love it so much was because how she ended up at the games was she volunteered for her little sister. And then there's a scene in, book, movie, whatever, where she's trying to kill the career tributes, who are basically these psychopaths in a way. And Rue points out the Tracker Jacker nest, and so Rue basically helps her get rid of these other people. And when Katniss falls and goes into this delirious state from the stings, it's Rue that takes in, helps take care of her while she's, unconscious. And so because she helped her and how much she reminds her of Prim, Katniss begins to help her. And I just really love, like I said, the friendship between them. It was just like this moment of hopefulness in hopelessness. Like there's all this death going around. There's these people, like I said in the other thing I just did. These people out there cheering on these kids getting killed and these parents watching their kids die. They have to fight for survival. Um, you know, she's being injured, she's starving again, all for entertainment. And so basically to see this moment of two people taking care of each other, looking out for each other, um, laughing, smiling a little bit at certain things, getting to know each other. I know they talked in the movie, however, I wish they would have kept more of the conversation from the book and put it into the movie. Because much like the Quarter Crawl with Haymitch and the other game, we got to see a little bit more of another character. Like I said, even though it was from Katniss's point of view, we got to know a little bit more about District 11 and Rue and why things are the way they are, how things go in another district. What happened to Rue was unbelievably sad. It slightly changed from book to movie how it happened, but it's still basically the same. And what I like is I'm not big on when they add things to movies that weren't in the book, but obviously the movie does show more of the outside world from the main character. So I thought they added the part of the salute from District 11. I thought they added that in very nicely. It definitely gave that emotional touch. of love and anger, and that I thought the two actresses were great together. And you just felt really bad for Katniss. Obviously, you felt bad for Rue for what happened to her. But it's like she went in to protect Prim, and now she couldn't even protect this little girl. And the girl who played her really brought Rue to life. I thought you felt bad for Rue because she's just this innocent little girl who helped somebody. It's like they both tried to help each other, and all that happened. And it's just so sad. And I liked the memorial she did for her. And like I said, how they did stuff back for her. They gave her bread, but that's not really said in the movie. It's more or less mentioned in Catching Fire, which I thought they should have added that, but oh well. Both the book and the movie, oh my god, especially when she's singing to her, it's just so sad, but yet very beautiful. So finally, we are at my number one pick, and my number one pick would be Katniss volunteering at the Reaping. Now, 5 years prior to this story, or to the first book, her father dies in the mining accident, along with many other people. I think that was including Gale's father, which is talked about, I think, more or less in Mockingjay. But anyways, so since that 5 year period, because her mother went into this depression over, her husband and, Katniss's father's death, it's been up to Katniss to take care of her mother and sister. Now, each year from the time you are 12, your name goes in. And so what happens is, each year your name's in there again and again. So, like, if you were 13, your name would be in there twice. If you were 14, it would be in there 3 times. There's also vouchers you can get for gas, grain, basic stuff to survive, by putting your name in even more. So I think Katniss's name was in there like 40 something times. And she tells her sister it's your first year, so you're not going to get picked. And what happens is Prim for the girls that get picked. And so this was the scene that really, really set both the book and the movie into motion, obviously. And it has to be, in my view, the best scene just because it's, you can feel it in the book, you can see it in the movie. It was very well acted out. You can see from reading it and watching it, the shock that came over Katniss that out of all these kids, it's her little sister, the small, fragile little girl that's being called to these games of death, basically. And her name has been in there once. So there's shock and confusion. There's, just anger and sadness. And so she does what she thinks she has to do while Prim is walking towards the stage because she's a tribute now. She runs up, and she shouts that she is going to volunteer. It's like it took less than 5 seconds for her just to do this. And, it obviously shows how much she loves her sister, and, that she has to protect her, that she didn't even think, really. She just went up and volunteered, knowing that most people from her district don't win. There's only one winner alive, which is Haymitch, and they've only had 2 winners, him and some other person. And in Catching Fire, it was mentioned that she's the only female tribute, so basically it was two guys. And the games have been going on for 75 years. So she knows that there is like more than a 50-50 chance that she is not coming back. But she loves her sister and she wants to protect her, so she just goes and volunteers. And like I said, you can hear the desperation in her voice. You can hear that it wasn't even a thought to take her place. So there you have it. There is my top 5 Wednesday of the week. I'm sorry if this took long. I don't know how long it's going to be until I finally put all this together. But it's kind of impossible for me to talk about the series like in just 5 minutes because I just think it is fantastic. A fantastic plot, characters. Yes, it has its problems, but I think it is still a great read. And if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend that you pick it up. So, thank you for watching. Um, I hope this video you thought was at least a little bit good. You know, it's only my second top 5 Wednesday, so hopefully I will get better at these. But again, thank you for watching and bye bye.